Piers asked 8 times. Hassan refused every time.
I didn't ask you if you supported killing him. I just said, are you pleased he's no longer ruling the country? Sounds like you are, but you're just very reluctant to use the word yes.
Yeah, because I have to think through the consequences of what I'm saying, Piers. It's good for you to ask a great question in a vacuum, but if I say yes to that question, does that mean I'm supporting what Trump and Netanyahu did? No.
I don't think any of that follows. You could just say yes or no.
And I don't take pleasure in.
Piers asked the same question 8 times. Hassan refused to answer it the same way every time, and Hassan was right.
Pleased that the now dead Ayatollah Khamenei, the older Khamenei, is no longer ruling Iran?
It's a good question. I don't take pleasure in killing anyone. I don't think you should have illegally killed the foreign leader of a nation, who's also, by the way, a spiritual leader to millions of Shia Muslims around the world. He wasn't my spiritual leader, but he's a spiritual leader to many people I know. And that's a reality. I know people watching at home, non-Muslims, may kind of scratch their heads and say, but, you know, he's a tyrant in a foreign country. But that is the reality. He wasn't just a political ruler. He was a spiritual ruler. And to kill him, to assassinate him on day one of the war, will have insane consequences, Piers. I hope I'm not back on this show in a year, 2 years, 3 years, saying to you, Piers, do you remember when I told you that killing Khamenei will have a backlash? There will be terrorism, there will be revenge attacks. I hope that doesn't happen. But it could happen. It might likely happen. US intelligence is suggesting it might happen. The blowback from killing a foreign head of state, from killing an Ayatollah, a religious leader, in this way, in this blasé way. By the way, Piers, they also killed the people he wanted to succeed Khamenei. They're so incompetent. Trump now admits that in the next door building, they accidentally also killed the people they wanted to be their Delcy Rodriguez in Iran. So no, I'm never going to support assassinating foreign leaders, killing foreign leaders. So, you know, Colonel Gaddafi was raped and murdered on the side of a street in Libya. Is Libya better off without him? Well, A, not sure about that. B, obviously, I don't shed any tears for Gaddafi, but that is not what you do. I'm never going to support the killing of anybody outside of a trial, outside of due process. And, you know, it's for the Iranian people to decide their future. If the Iranian people want to get rid of Khamenei, it was up to the Iranian people, not up to Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. And by the way, what a great regime change war this is. They replaced Ayatollah Khamenei with Ayatollah Khamenei. That's real high-level success in your regime change war. His son, apparently, is more hardline, we're told, than his father. And why wouldn't he be? They just killed his mum, his dad, I think his wife as well, his sister. It's not a guy who's going to do a deal anytime soon or roll over for Donald Trump. So strategically, it's a disaster. And legally and morally, no, you can't just kill people you don't like. Am I going to support, you know, I don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, Piers. Maybe you've noticed so for the last 2 years. But I don't support anyone assassinating him.
My actual question, though, it was brilliantly deflected. My actual question was, are you pleased that he's no longer ruling Iran?
Well, I don't support the vilayat-e-faqih, what is called the Islamic system of rule in Iran. So I don't support any ayatollahs being in charge of Iran. In Iraq, for example, you have an ayatollah named Sistani, who the Americans have worked with for a long time. He's the spiritual leader of a lot of Iraq Shias and a lot of Shias around the world. He's never taken executive authority. He's never said, I'm going to be in charge of Iraq. He sits in his house and he gives his religious rulings. I prefer that system of government. So in a sense, are you asking me, do I hope that, you know, do I want ayatollahs to rule Iran? No, I don't. I'm on the record supporting a democratic system, but I think it was people. No, I don't.
No, I know. I wasn't asking if you supported killing him. I just was asking if you're pleased he's no longer ruling the country.
It's a loaded question because his son is leading the country. So am I pleased with that? No, I'm not pleased with his son leading the country. It's not a question you can answer in a vacuum, can you, Piers?
Well, no. So if you're not pleased with the son ruling the country,
are you pleased that Saddam Hussein? Are you pleased that Saddam Hussein is not ruling Iraq?
Yeah.
The question sounds simple. Are you pleased the Ayatollah is no longer ruling Iran? Yes or no? Piers asks it repeatedly. Each time Hassan gives something more substantive, and Piers calls it a deflection and asks again. By the third time, it is clear the repetition is not about getting information. It is about getting a clip. A yes means a progressive journalist celebrating an assassination. A no means a progressive journalist defending an Ayatollah. Either clip works for Piers. Hassan knows it, which is why he will not give it to him. Hassan does not support killing foreign leaders outside of due process, not because he liked the Ayatollah, but because that principle is worth holding consistently, regardless of who the target is. Gaddafi was murdered on a Libyan street. Libya is not better off. The method was wrong, regardless of what you thought of the man. The strategic failure argument lands hardest. They replaced Ayatollah Khamenei with Ayatollah Khamenei, his son, more hardline, Who just watched his entire family get killed? This is not a man who negotiates with Trump. The operation accidentally killed the moderate successors. Trump admitted it. The result is a more radicalized leadership in a country now angrier than before the war started.
You oppose that war like I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
The two things are
So you can hold
perfectly
multiple positions
compatible.
at one time. Agreed.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
There's no
But I'm
problem saying that you're.
I'm agreeing with you.
You could easily. So you've agreed. You've now said that you're pleased the son. You're not pleased the son is running the country. Is that what you said?
No, I'm not.
Ah.
Not at all. I've said that publicly.
But so does it automatically
and he's only
follow
ruling,
you?
And he's only ruling the country. Hold on. He's only ruling the country because we killed the leader before him, his dad.
I understand that. But I'm just trying to work out by natural process of elimination, you must therefore de facto be pleased that the dead Ayatollah is no longer ruling the country.
Am I pleased he's not ruling the country? It's a question in vacuum. So does that mean I'm pleased with his son ruling the country? Because it's a weird gotcha question without
No, I'm not asking about his son.
I don't want to say yes to that
him.
because that implies that I'm okay with the fallout from it, which I'm not. But I have made my position clear. I don't think any Ayatollah should be running Iran. That's not my political or religious viewpoint.
So it sounds
but I
like
don't
a
think
yes.
you should kill them in order to get rid of them. But I don't think you should kill Ayatollahs in order to get rid of them.
I didn't ask you if you supported killing him. I just said, are you pleased he's no longer ruling the country? Sounds like you are, but you're just very reluctant to use the word yes.
Yeah, because I have to think through the consequences of what I'm saying, Piers. It's good for you to ask a great question in a vacuum, but if I say yes to that question, does that mean I'm supporting what Trump and Netanyahu did? No.
I don't think any of that follows. You could just say yes or no.
And I don't take pleasure in killing people without trials. If Ayatollah Khamenei did something wrong, the Iranians should have tried him. The Iranians should have tried him.
Wasn't the question. Mehdi, that wasn't my question. I didn't ask if you were pleased he got killed.
It was just a question about my feelings.
I just asked, are you pleased he's no longer ruling the country? It's a yes or no. You either are or you're not.
No, because I can't. No, it's not. No, Piers, it's not as simple as that. I know you've now latched onto this, but I have to think this through. No, I don't think it's a matter about my feelings.
I've only latched onto it because you won't answer.
Pleased.
I think it's an easy thing to answer. I think.
I didn't know it was a therapy session to ask me about how I'm feeling. I thought it's about my political viewpoints. My political viewpoint is it was wrong to kill him. It was illegal to kill him. It will have disastrous effects for the region. It's mad to take out a head of state and a spiritual leader. And it's even madder when you replace him with his son, who apparently is, quote unquote, worse than him, both for Iran and for US and Israeli interests.
I'll just try one
no,
more time.
I'm not pleased at the situation we're in.
Not asking you about the situation. Simply asking, are you pleased that he's no longer ruling the country?
No, I'm not pleased about what's going on right now in Iran, which involves killing Khamenei. So I'm not going to answer your question out of any context for you to clip this out of context. No. Nice try.
Perish the thought that either of us would take anything from our interviews and clip them out of context, Mehdi. You would never do that, would you?
Never. It's like that time you wouldn't say if
Mehdi
Trump was a
Hasan?
racist or not when I asked you about 7 times on my show.
Mehdi, you can ask me again next time I'm on your show, but it's always good to have.
The final exchange is the most honest moment in the entire segment, and it happens almost accidentally. Hasan says it directly. He is not going to answer the question out of context for it to be clipped. And Piers laughs and says, perish the thought that either of us would clip things out of context. Both of them know exactly what the game is. Both of them just admitted it on camera. The question was never about getting information. It was about getting usable content. And Hasan refused to provide it. Political media runs on clips. 30-second moments stripped of context that confirm what the audience already believes. The binary yes or no question is one of the most reliable tools for generating those clips because it forces a complex position into a simple frame that can then be misrepresented in either direction. Hasan has had enough clips taken out of context to know exactly what a yes or a no produces in the wrong hands. His final position is the right one. He does not support any Ayatollah ruling Iran. He supports a democratic system for the Iranian people. He does not support assassinating foreign leaders outside of due process, regardless of how bad those leaders are. And the specific operation replaced one Ayatollah with a more radicalized version while accidentally killing the moderate successors and giving the new leadership every reason to never negotiate. That is not a deflection. That is an analysis. And the fact that it does not fit into a yes or a no is not a failure of Hasan's thinking. It is a failure of the question. The people who need to understand what is actually happening in Iran do not need a clip. They need the analysis, an illegal assassination, a more radicalized successor, no strategic victory. Just consequences playing out for years while the people who made the decisions move on to the next news cycle. What are your thoughts on the political threat of binary media traps being used to shut down complex geopolitical analysis? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Lucas Stoey, where we cut through the noise so you don't have to. Thanks for watching.